Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. My hormones make me a nutcase. Amy and myself are here as usual, and today we're going to be talking all about hot flashes.
Hot flashes. Depends where you're from.
I know some people say hot flashes, and I've heard that a lot, and I'm like, I always hear hot flashes.
Yeah, it's American and potentially Australian. I feel like Australian might say flashes though, but it's definitely American with hot flashes.
Ah,
That was not an American accent, by the way. I went to go to do an American accent, then thought actually I'm not going to do this, and I don't know what you even sounded like, so I
it was like
apologize.
half of an American accent.
Yeah, so we're not going to call it that today. We're going to call it hot flashes.
Call it hot flashes. Let's go for it. We'll do the English version. Gosh, cannot speak. Um,
Uh-oh.
so I suppose to start off, we'll explain what a hot flush is. So it's a sudden temporary feeling of heat that spreads through the body, often most intense over the face, neck, and chest. And it's one of the most common symptoms during the perimenopause and menopause, actually affecting up to 75% of women. That's a lot. That's a lot of women.
Mm, it is. And I've got a lot of clients that have that. They'll be like, hang on a minute, give me a moment whilst I just, whew, I need to stand outside. I'm like, okay. Or like I've got clients that just run hot so lot like so much that I'll be sat there freezing in the shed, like PTing them, and they've got the door wide open. They're like, it's so nice today. And I'm like, oh my God.
Not like
Please
us
shut
so
the
normal.
door. Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
I think the worst one is I've had a lot of women, they get them at night as well, and they wake up like
Mm.
dripping in sweat. And when I've had like a really bad nightmare, for example, or something like that, every now and then you wake up and you're like drenched, don't you? Because you're like, I don't know, just had a
Hmm.
nightmare. But to have that every night or, a few times a week or something, or multiple times a night, gosh, that must be really hard.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And I've had it when there's obviously been an estrogen drop because that's normally what it is. But like on the odd occasion, like not all the time. And I don't sleep next to anyone. So I can only imagine how that feels when
Mm,
you're like, oh my God, I'm sharing a bed with someone and now it's completely soaked because they're also laying in that bed. They might
yeah.
not be in that side that you're on, but it must be horrible for some people, especially if they're really self-conscious about it too.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I think we're like kind of made to feel like all of these things are just abnormal, and you do feel embarrassed and self a lot of women feel embarrassed and really self-conscious about it, don't they? So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and then it doesn't do anything like all the other symptoms, doesn't do anything for anyone's confidence
No.
or anything of the above, makes you feel like shit. And then, yeah, no wonder people don't want to go out and do stuff, especially when they're suffering through things like that. But like we said, it's so common in people that it happens that people will understand,
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
or they will understand more because there's more chat about it now. Maybe because we're in this world, I don't know that I see more of it because it's the
Yeah.
world we're in. I don't know if it's like that for people that aren't necessarily in this world.
No. And I suppose like we're speaking literally, like I'm just working with perimenopausal and menopausal women. So for me, it's like I see it every day. And a lot of your women are as well, aren't they? So
Mm.
we're talking about it all the time. Whereas I suppose in other industries and offices and other jobs, it's not the case that not everyone's talking about it day to day.
Absolutely. And I think not just like from a perimenopausal or menopausal stance as well, like just in general, like I have new people come in and I'll show them like three moves to start with. And I go, don't worry, I know you're not going to forget, you're not going to remember how to do that first one, but I'm going to show you what's coming. And then we'll go through it again because I know everyone's gone, well, I can't remember what you just did in the first one.
Mm.
Like I do it. I get coached by someone, I look at them and I'm like, huh? What did you do? Like, show me again. But it's normal. Like, there's certain things that people do for each move that I know exactly what they're about to do because the majority of people do it and they go, oh, am I abnormal? Or, oh, I've got no upper body strength, or I've got none of this, or none of that. And I'm like, literally everyone does it. I said, sometimes I wish people could just watch other people's sessions and see how they are or see what they come across, like what they do as well, because the majority of people just do the same thing.
Yeah, yeah, it's true. It's true. So I suppose to explain exactly like what is happening, so God, hot flushes.
Flot tushes.
Oh dear, are caused by hormonal changes, particularly the decline in and fluctuation of estrogen levels, which affect how the brain regulates body temperature. So again, another decrease in estrogen messes us all up.
Absolutely. We just need estrogen to survive. But however, I know people have got through the perimenopause and whatever, like without estrogen and things. But I think, yeah, when you've got all the information behind you, you could, it's just, it's just a nightmare without estrogen, isn't it?
It really is. It really is. So yeah, estrogen levels decline. The ovaries gradually produce less estrogen, which influences the hypothalamus,
Hyper, hypothalamus. She
hypothalamus,
knows.
which is the brain's temperature control center.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like, like, well, obviously, there's parts in your cycle, isn't there, where you're hotter or you're colder,
Yeah,
and stuff. And you go through that. That's because your brain can't regulate your temperature. So it's 10 times worse when you start losing estrogen. And yeah,
yeah. So it's
it sets off.
interesting. Sorry.
Carry on.
Oh. With my Aura ring, it tracks my body temperature, and
Mm,
always like the week before that I'm due on my period, my body temperature is higher, and then it kind of knows when you're like going to come on. But it also affects your sleep because your body temperature doesn't drop as much when you're sleeping, so therefore your sleep quality isn't as good as well. So that's really interesting.
yeah, it is really interesting because it does affect it. And like you say, and then that can affect things like potential like night sweats and stuff like that, especially if
Yeah,
you are more menopausal than anyone that's going through their cycle. But again, people in their cycle can get it too,
yeah,
but just not on the same sort of scale, I suppose.
yeah, yeah, for sure. So yeah, that's a little bit about obviously with your estrogen levels dropping, then your brain can't kind of control the temperature. Um, so the hypothalamus maintains body temperature with a narrow thermoneutral zone, theomutual zone.
Thermo neutral.
Thermoneutral, missed that R. I can't speak today. You should be talking about this. Um, estrogen fluctuations make this zone narrower, meaning even small changes in body temperature trigger exaggerated responses.
Yeah. So essentially, like you could only have a small estrogen drop, but you could feel real hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, like so the thermo.
Thermoneutral. It's not
Yeah,
actually that.
thermo. Oh, the zone, yeah, is a lot smaller for like an estrogen drop and making a bigger difference is basically what it's saying.
Yeah. So neurotransmitter imbalance. So this is basically a step-by-step breakdown of the science of why they happen. So low estrogen affects neurotransmitters which help regulate body temperature. And when one of those types of neurotransmitters activity is increased, it makes the hypothalamus think the body is overheating even when it isn't.
Mm. Yeah, which is not cool, is it?
No. And then you've got the vasodilation
Vaso vasodilation. Sure.
response. The hypothalamus triggers a heat loss response. So blood vessels in the skin open wider, increases blood flow to the skin. This increases flushing and feeling of heat, and then sweating follows to help cool the body.
Yeah, that's essentially what sweating is, isn't it? The more you sweat, it's because your body's trying to cool down.
Cool down. Exactly. Yeah, that's it. And then we've got step 5, which is the last one. So as the body loses heat, temperature drops again, leading to like chills or a cold, like clammy feeling once the flush subsides, which,
And again, kind of like once you've done sport and then you
yeah,
sit there and you haven't had a shower or whatever, and you get like cold, like, oh, feeling horrible, isn't it?
yeah, horrible.
That's,
I know, like if you go for a run or something like that, you're like so hot and then your body temperature just drops massively and you just feel like, oh, clammy,
mhm,
disgusting. So yeah, it's
absolutely.
kind of feeling.
Which is not cool. Yeah, absolutely. And like things like hot flushes are also like directly linked to cardiovascular problems. There's a lot of stuff in the world of like Dr. Mary Claire, is that her name? Did I make that up? Cleaver, Claire. I don't know. Can't remember her name. Anyway, she's a menopause specialist and stuff. And she did a podcast that I listened to last week before, with this cardiovascular, I want to say she's maybe a surgeon who's now linking stuff that she does cardiovascular wise with like menopause and stuff like that. And she was saying how they did a study um, with women that were having 6 hot flushes per week. Obviously, a lot of people can have more than that a week,
Yeah.
and it's probably more natural that people are probably having more like 6 in a day. Maybe that might be a bit high, but you know what we're
Yeah.
saying. Um, Basically, the more hot flushes you had, the greater narrowing of the main vessels, like in the side of your neck,
Hmm.
the big arteries. They had a greater narrowing, so that meant that they were more likely to be at risk of like strokes, heart disease, and stuff like that. So if you're starting to have hot flushes, that's why you should potentially, if you want to, not everyone has to, but go to the doctors then and get on something like HRT to slow down the amount of hot flushes and stuff you're having, because then your risk of like stroke and cardiovascular disease, etc., is less.
Mm. That's
So I
so,
thought it was super interesting that it was like, yeah, all to do with like the arteries in the side of your neck and stuff. I was like, oh, that's mental.
yeah, that is really mental. And a little bit scary as well, isn't it? And I suppose it does highlight the fact that actually looking into HRT, especially if you are someone that's having a lot of hot flashes, like definitely have a talk with your doctor about it. And
Mm.
yeah, because that is
And
scary.
absolutely, but everything's a risk, right? Everything is a risk. So medication you're taking is always going to be a risk. A surgery you're going to go and have is always going to have a risk. There's going to be side effects and risks to everything. So you have to decide whether it's right for you or
Yeah,
not right for you.
absolutely.
And then if you decide it's not for you, you then figure out what is right for you. So we're not saying you have to go on HRT,
No,
but look into it and see
yeah,
what it can do for you. And if you feel like, even if you tried it out for a bit first to see if it works for you and it's what you want to do it. If you don't want to do it, don't do it.
yeah, for sure, for sure. And I think as well, there are risks to doing things, but there's also risks for not doing things as well. So,
Hmm.
you could, if you are someone that has a lot of hot flashes and it could be linked to, your cardiovascular system, whatever, then is there a higher risk of you not doing something about that? I'm not trying to scare anyone or, and I'm not a doctor, but it's true. There are
Playing
always
devil's advocate.
risks.
Mm.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you, and again, it is having a conversation with the doctor, looking into all these things and seeing what is the best option. But yeah, there's always a risk of doing things, but there's a risk of not doing things as well.
Yeah. And the earlier you look into it and the earlier you do some or try and do something about it, or yeah, be open to doing something towards it, that's probably what I'm looking for, then the less risk you potentially have of all those side effects and stuff. Like it's just good to know from an earlier age, like
Mm.
what is coming at you. I've said this before, like learn about it before you even get anywhere near it.
Yeah,
Like track your cycles so you know your cycles. So when you know when you're in the perimenopause. I mean, some people
yeah,
won't know because like if people are on like the injection or like the pill or whatever, they might not know their cycle, or if they've got polycystic ovaries and stuff like that. However, if you can track everything, know way before you even go into the menopause or perimenopause,
yeah,
so you understand it better.
yeah,
I think
definitely.
understanding it and being aware of it is the key. I mean, being aware of everything is like the key to
Awareness
life.
is the key to life. It really is. Once you're aware of stuff, it's so much easier to start changing things. If you're not aware, then you literally can't change anything. So yeah, whatever you can do in life, become aware. That is the key
Mhm.
takeaway from today.
Literally.
Self-awareness. So I suppose some interesting things to cover is like some physiological changes that happen during a hot flush. So skin temperature can actually rise by 1 to 7 degrees, which is
That's a
wild.
lot.
That is a lot. 7 degrees is, I mean, even 1 degrees you can feel, can't you? Like, when you're on one and stuff, you feel
Mm.
it. So 7 degrees, wild, wild. Your heart rate can increase by 5 to 15 beats per minute, which is
And
again,
that's a lot as
oh,
well.
yeah. That's like going from sitting down to like a brisk walk or a walk or something like that.
Hmm. Yep. And
Sweating,
that's like horrible as well sometimes when you can feel like
yeah,
your heart
that's
rate beating quicker.
anxiety inducing. Yeah,
Mm,
yeah. Like if I feel my heart going and I'm not doing anything, that's like, that will make me feel anxious. So I can only imagine if you're feeling that every time you're getting a hot flush, like that's really scary.
yeah, absolutely.
You sweat more, especially on the upper body and the face, and a flush can typically last anywhere from 30 seconds to 10 minutes.
Minutes. Oh
10
my God.
That's a
Imagine
time.
sweating and feeling hot for 10 minutes. Like when you're sat and not doing anything, like
Yeah,
10 minutes. If you're having 10-minute hot flushes, go see a doctor because
yeah.
that can't be good for you. And that can't be just good in general, right? Like, or
No.
nice. Like, I wouldn't want to sit there and sweat for 10 minutes, like
No.
uncontrollably, unless I was like doing physical activity or whatever and I knew I was getting hot for a reason. But if I'm sat here in this house right now, I'm cold. If I suddenly got really hot and was sat here and sweating my ass off for 10 minutes, I don't think I'd be happy about
It's like if you were just to go from just sitting down to suddenly standing up and going for a sprint. That's kind
that.
of what it's like, isn't it? But you're not actually
Yeah,
getting up and doing the sprint. You're just sat there, and suddenly your heart starts racing, your body starts sweating. Like it's like you've just done a workout from literally just sitting there. And you've got to feel all those things happening to your body, and then yeah, that could go
yeah.
on for 10 minutes. Like
And
that's
you think, yeah, and you think of like, you could be like, you could be at work, you could be in a really important meeting,
yeah,
like, and you could be like presenting something in front of people, and then suddenly you're like absolutely sweating. Like, that's not a nice situation to be in. You could be sat on the train full of all these people, and then you start sweating. Again, you don't want to be you just never know when it's going to come on.
no, no. And I think that that would be the worst, being in a public place. Like, I suppose if you're outside and you're walking, things like that, again, not nice, but like, at least you're not in a closed space. But if you're in a meeting at work or you're presenting something, or if you're constantly around people when you're working and then have to go through that, like, yeah, that's,
Because trying to ignore that, I feel like would be very difficult.
you can't though, can you? Like, it's not something that you can just ignore. Like, if sweat starts like dripping down your face and you just go really red, like, you can't really ignore that, can you?
It's just dripping off the end of your nose and you're trying to ignore it. No, probably not. But like, yeah, it just must be. You can see why like a lot of women like who are especially high up in their careers. I'm not saying this is not for anyone like because maybe if you're on a shop floor, whatever. Anyway, I'm not discriminating about jobs and whatever. And like if you're high up in your career and you are like a lot of police and stuff like that, they end up like ending their career early because of the menopause.
Yeah.
And you can see why, like, if they suddenly forget, we've said this before on the brain fog thing, if they suddenly start forgetting what they're doing, like, me and you both know that's not nice, forgetting what you're doing and where you're at and all of this, because, yeah. Um, but if you're like that for a long period of time, or like you say, if you're in front of people and you're sweating all the time, like, I suppose unless you're, and it shouldn't be, unless you're one of those people that can just like pie it off and as a joke. Oh yeah, and you can take a joke, I suppose, like especially if you're in an industry like that, like I say police or whatever, and be like, oh God, she's sweating again. Like it's not nice, but if you can just do that, maybe you do keep your job for longer or you feel like you can. Whereas if you really can't do that, whereas a lot of women won't, because it's not nice feeling like that. It's yeah, you can see why a lot of people end their careers.
Mm. Which is just so sad. Really
It
is.
is. Because just because of your hormones, people should not be ending their careers.
No,
That's
absolutely.
why like workplaces really need to work with women when they're going through this and provide like workshops and actually not even just women, men too. So men understand it.
Men even probably more so because they're the ones
Yeah.
that just don't understand and empathize at all because they don't have no clue. Like at least us women can kind of get it. Like I know if you're not perimenopausal, 100% understand, but you still have periods, still have hormones, so you can understand the fluctuations and obviously see people going through it. But as men, you're just like even with periods, they're kind of like, can't be that bad. Do you know what I mean? They just don't get it, do they? I'm sure some men are very good at like trying to sympathize,
Yeah.
but still, yeah, I think if just men in all kind of work, whether you're working in a supermarket or in a bank in London, well, bank anywhere, but I was going to say London, it's the men should understand and be taken through workshops and stuff for sure.
I feel like it should be like if you're in a workplace where you're in an office or whatever, even probably when you're working from home too, or you're not self-employed, whatever. Like if you've got a workforce, let's say that if you have a workforce, everyone should have a menopause workshop or a hormone and menopause workshop. So
Yeah,
they freaking understand or can try and understand, right? And they should all have to put on those period things and attach them to them and go, right, do your work and see how it feels. That's what they should do with every job, just so
yeah,
they understand just a little bit more. Because those videos are hilarious. I love watching them. I don't really watch much, but like that, they do really like get me.
yeah. I think we're a long way still until that happens, but anyway, we keep speaking about
One
it.
day.
It'll happen one day. That's it.
Exactly. It will happen.
Definitely, definitely. So I suppose some like key summary points are the trigger is estrogen withdrawal, and then you get the fluctuation. There's the control center, the hypothalamus. I can't say it.
It's all right. We're all your version. It's all right. It's pretty much the same.
Which is like the control center, which controls like your temperature and your temperature regulation. Then you've got the mediators, which are the two types of neurotransmitters. Then you've got the response, the heat sensation, the sweating, the cooling, and then the after effect, which is like the possible chills as the body temperature starts to normalize.
Absolutely. So, off the back of that, things that you can do to help yourself, I suppose. Like we've got a few
Yes.
tips. They won't work for everyone, but try different things, see what works for you.
Yeah.
Um, and I definitely think having like you can wear lighter clothes potentially. It depends on how hot you get and how cold you get, right? Because I feel like if you wear lighter clothes, then you get cold, you might need a jumper with you. But just maybe think about your clothing options more.
Yeah. Maybe just wear an easy to take off cardigan or jumper or something so that if you do get hot, you've got something underneath that you can just, yeah, you can just put it,
Yeah,
take it off. Maybe that's
absolutely.
depends what time of year it is as well, I suppose, doesn't it?
100%. I mean, if it's super hot, I have like a few clients that have like handheld fans or the fans that go
Yeah.
around their necks and just
Yeah.
blow the cool in their face.
That's a good idea.
Um, yeah, and I've got a few that actually have the gel pillows as well, like at night, especially to try and keep their head cool. Because a lot of the time, like if your head's hot, you are hot, aren't you? Like, if you put a hat on, you keep the heat in. That's what they
Yeah.
say, right?
Yeah. That's so true.
And if you take
So
it
true.
off, it all comes out the top. So if you can try and keep your head cooler,
Yeah.
um, that's a good thing. Also, if you have access to, because not everyone does, and I know I haven't got to like exercise bit yet, but actually going in a sauna.
Hmm.
So like doing a sauna for like 10 minutes, like 2 or 3 times a week if you have access to it. Like doing a sauna gets you and your body used to being at higher temperatures, so you can deal with higher temperatures
Hmm.
better.
That's interesting.
So yeah, looking at doing them if you can is good. It is good for you. I mean, it's good for you in general, but like
Yeah.
it will help you more.
Yeah. I mean, if you're training for like, this is not what most people are going to be doing, but you don't really hear people training for like marathons in a really hot country and stuff, which, but they go into like, do sauna stuff, don't they? Or go into hot rooms and things like that to get their body adapted to it. So it's the same
Mm. So if
concept.
you want to train for the menopause and your hot
Yeah,
flushes,
exactly. Training
get in
for
a
the menopause rather than the
sauna.
marathon.
I generally thought that's what you were going to say. I was like, she's going to say it, isn't she? She's going to say train for the menopause and get in the sauna, but you didn't.
Oh. But yeah, diet and nutrition. So avoiding hot drinks, spicy food, alcohol, caffeine, because they can all trigger your hot flushes. Staying well hydrated, your normal stuff, eating your balanced whole foods, your vegetables, your whole grains, etc. Phytoestrogens can be really helpful as well. So things like flax seeds and also soy products as well. So tofu, like soy milk, those things can potentially
Yeah.
help. I think there's also red clover extract. Again, something to like speak to your doctor about, but I think that's something that people can recommend for hot flushes as well.
Yeah, that one and apparently licorice root. But again, look into that. I don't know the science behind it. I don't know if it, I've just heard that people will like do use it. So again,
Yeah,
not for everyone, but might work for you. Who knows?
indeed, indeed.
Nothing, I would definitely not be taking that because it's got the word licorice in it. However,
Ooh.
red clover, maybe would give that a go. Who knows? Oh, look,
Exercise.
I wrote down about saunas.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
there we
you
go.
did. Yeah, you
Look
did.
at me go. I obviously really like the fact that getting in a sauna can help you prepare.
Yeah. So exercising, regular aerobic exercise, brisk walking, swimming, cycling can all help to regulate your temperature control and help to reduce stress as well.
Yeah, exercise just does so much, doesn't it? Like, and you've got to find what works for you again.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And strength training, which obviously we always talk about, got to be done.
The queen of all training. We're
Exactly.
going to say queen because it's better than a king.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Managing your stress, as we always say, stress and anxiety can trigger or worsen hot flushes. So, your deep breathing, your yoga, mindfulness, meditation, all of those kind of things. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, but 5 minutes meditation a day if we go to bed, or, five big deep breaths, just little things like that.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah, because I feel like stress definitely does. You know what it's like, right? If we ever have to do like personal training, like coaching, role play or whatever. Oh my God. Like we did it once and I was in a jumper and joggers. I had to go get in a pair of shorts and wear my sports bra because I was so hot. So having like and that stress and that anxiety towards having to do a role play scene, like if you're really stressed and anxious all the time and then you're adding hot flushes on top of that, oh my God, like a
definitely.
million degrees.
Definitely, definitely. Yeah, and like anything that you do first time makes you nervous, right? Like for me, if I get really nervous, yeah, like you say, you just
Mm,
end up sweating, your face goes red. Like it's the same kind of thing, isn't it? It's getting a hot flush. So yeah, definitely, definitely working on the anxiety side, but also cognitive behavior therapy as well, which can help reduce hot flashes. So yeah, working on
I
reframing.
suppose, yeah, because you end up, like you say, talking about how a hot flush affects you because you could be really anxious that you're going to get hot flushes, like we said earlier, like in a
Yeah,
meeting or in here. So if you can learn techniques using that kind of therapy to help you not be so anxious about getting a hot flush, then you won't be, like we just said, doubly hot because you're not anxious as well as having a hot flush.
yeah, and that's it. And like back when I was like 15, 16, I used to get really bad panic attacks. And then the reason that I would get the panic attacks would be because I'd be worrying that I was going to get a panic attack. So actually having cognitive behavior therapy kind of rewires the brain so you're not thinking about having the panic attack so you don't have it. So it's a similar kind of thing, like you were saying, if you're going into a meeting and you always think, or you think, I always have a hot flush in the meeting, you're probably going to have one. So
Mm,
actually, if you can work on reframing those thoughts, you probably start to reduce them. So
absolutely. It's mental how much like your brain can almost manifest things to happen, right? Like I'll get it sometimes. I'll go on a run and go, oh, my hamstring doesn't hurt today. Oh, my knee doesn't hurt. And as soon as I start thinking about it, god damn, I'm like, fuck, now my hamstring hurts. Shouldn't have thought
yeah,
about it. Like I had a coaching session today at football, and I said to him, I was like, oh, it's so annoying because as soon as you start running at me, I panic. And he's like, well, stop thinking about what I'm doing and think about what you're doing with the ball. Oh, and then I got around him really easy because I stopped focusing on that one thing that was coming at me. Like, and it was just changing my mindset around, okay, don't think that way, think this way, think about what you're going to do and you're in control rather than that thing that's coming at you being in control. So again, you can use that, like you said, with the hot flushes. If you can try and control how you feel around them, hopefully they won't always happen in that same situation.
Exactly, exactly. But yeah, and then like we speak about, medical options, looking at HRT, um, which, you might need to try different things, speak to your doctor, whether it's tablets, patches, gels, sprays. There's so many different things that you can try different doses and stuff, but that's definitely something to speak to your doctor about and test out, see how you feel. And then I suppose nighttime specific tips are, yeah, use breathable bedding. That's probably, you don't want anything that's
Mm.
going to make you, if you're sweating anyway in bed, you probably want to get some some breathable
Oh,
bedding.
absolutely. And even if like you share a bed with someone, like, oh, I used to get so fed up with my ex because he'd always pull the covers off me. And in the end, I was like, screw this. Here's your duvet. Here's mine. Like, we'd still sleep in the same bed, but we just had our own duvets because I was
Right.
just done. So you might need that because your other half might get really cold. Whereas you might get really hot, and that's not helping anyone. You might just need a sheet, whereas they might need a whole duvet. So,
Mm,
like, do
yeah,
things that work for you. Like, it doesn't mean you have to go and sleep in a separate bed. I mean, albeit if you really want to and you're happy doing that, crack on, because that might be the way
yeah,
forward for you.
for sure.
I know so many people that don't sleep in the same bed, and actually, I'm all for it because I feel like you get 100% a better sleep. But then I haven't said this to anyone in forever. Um, but yeah, you do what you need to do to make you cooler, right? Because you're already going to be hotter because you're near someone anyway and you're getting their body heat. Unless I suppose you've got a bed where you have to roll about 10 times before you see the person.
Yeah, like my bed. It's brilliant. Um, except for the dog's usually in my bed at 5 a.m., so that's fun.
Takes up all the space.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And then I suppose keeping water by your bed, limit alcohol before bed because that's going to increase your body temperature, as we've spoken about many,
Absolutely.
many ones before. And
And
then
if you're sweating a lot, you'll need to rehydrate. So have some water there
that's like
just in
having water
case.
there. Exactly, exactly. And sometimes just having like a big glug of water, can just help you to feel better and make you feel a little bit cooler. So
Mhm.
yeah, again with the relaxation, like we said, and try cooling your feet before getting into bed as well, which
Yeah.
I know
Yes.
is not for
Because you think
you.
a lot of people, not for me. Oh my God, my feet are already cold. I'm not always cold. But so for me, like I have to wear socks to bed because if my feet are cold, I cannot sleep. Like cannot sleep. Cold feet doesn't let me sleep. However, if you're absolutely roasting, you need to cool down by cooling down your feet. I suppose it's like the head thing, isn't it? Like if your head's hot, you're going to be hot. Whereas if you take your hat off and you cool down, you're going to cool down quicker. Whereas if you can cool your feet down,
Yeah,
that's going to travel up your body, I suppose, in some sort of weird way. I don't know how to explain that.
I know what you mean. For me, like sometimes if I put on my fluffy socks and I'm watching TV or something, and then I'll get really hot, like if the heating comes on or something like that. And the first thing, I'm not like, oh, I need to take my jumper off or it's like take my socks off. As soon as I take my socks off, I'm like, oh, I feel better now.
Mm, absolutely. Actually, do you know what? The odd times, not very often, that I get hot in bed, that's the first thing I will do before I take anything else off. My socks will come off fast. And
Yeah,
it's like letting the heat
yeah,
out, isn't it?
it is. It
Like,
is. Yeah,
so yeah, if you really, really suffer, try and cool your feet down fast. Like if you have to have like a cool shower before you go to bed or something like that, just cool your feet off,
yeah,
which will really
definitely,
help. And
definitely.
especially in the summer.
Yes, yeah, for sure.
Especially in the summer. Have a bowl of cold water by your bed, hot sheet in it.
Having a shower actually or a bath about half an hour to an hour before bed can be really good for lowering your body temperature as well. So that's
Mm.
one to
Yeah,
try.
as long as you don't have it on boiling hot, we're good.
Well, no, as long as you're not roasted sensitive. But yeah, don't sit in like a scorching hot bath. But yeah, more so I think a shower. I think that definitely helps to like regulate your temperature. Because if you sit in a really hot bath for too long, I know for me, like then you
Ooh.
yeah, you feel like dizzy, don't you?
Yeah, it's horrific. I did that once. Never done that again.
Yeah, so I think that's everything for today, really. I think we've covered everything we wanted to. So that's kind of the end of our menopause series, but obviously we're happy to come back and talk about different symptoms if anyone wants us to talk about anything else. We kind of just covered some of the most common ones just because, yeah, we
Yeah,
don't.
we'll be here all year otherwise, because
Yeah,
there's something
exactly.
stupid like at least a minimum of 53 different like symptoms that people get. And people will get more than that because there's only like research going into it like now pretty much. So there's probably like a million different things that people actually get.
Exactly, exactly. So, I
I
think
mean, itchy skin, we probably could have gone over that, but if you've got itchy skin,
yeah, I mean, we
probably
can
a
always cover
menopausal thing.
it in another one, can't we? But yeah. So yeah, thank you very much for listening, guys. I hope you've enjoyed that. We'll be back next week for a new episode. But if you do have any questions on these ones, you feel free to message us. You've got a number, message us, or in our group or on social media, reach out. We're always happy to help. You can email us at contactempoweryoufitness@gmail.com. And yeah, we will catch you in the next one.
Absolutely, we will. Au revoir.